PYX 106.
1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com.
Oh, and an in-studio appearance, not on the phone. It's attorney Paul Hardy from Martin Hardy.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, it's a whole different feel in here when I get to come in here and watch this happen live.
What do you think? What do you think about this,
Well, I've got my daughter with me, and,
Yes.
and Peyton is here, and I would say that we both sat back there with smiles on our face. It is fun to watch the show live. I think possibly there should be some kind of an opportunity for the public to maybe win something to come in and watch the show, because it's way more fun than people would guess. It really is.
Well,
Might be a sentence.
Or
someone who got in trouble.
once I get past my whole syndrome scare, Paul, maybe we'll start working on something like that.
It's never too late or too early to draft a will.
Right? Based on that
Right?
information, it probably a little.
I could go at any minute. Can we write something down? Give me a pencil.
We could do something right after the show.
Well, Paul came by and he brought his daughter this morning, so we wanted to talk about Aaron Hernandez, and I don't know if you saw
That's
it.
not why we wanted to talk
No,
about
that's not
it.
why, but that's why he's here.
Yes.
That's not why. Sorry, Pete.
You
don't
want to
wanna
make
know
sure
about
to
Aaron
make that
Hernandez.
clear.
You want to date someone from the chess club.
Yes.
Not one of these athletes. But
Yes, exactly.
to me, and I hadn't paid attention. I paid attention, then I didn't, and I'm paying attention again. His girlfriend gets a box from him that he's really adamant she dispose of, but she doesn't look inside and she doesn't ask any questions. Who believes that?
Well, hopefully the jury does. But what's interesting is she's given immunity. So what that means is she's got this immunity regardless of her testimony. Her testimony through grand jury and through some other things have been consistent she didn't know what was in the box. But then the big question was asked yesterday.
What's in the box?
Anybody remember that movie? Seven? Remember
Yes.
that? Yeah, Brad Pitt. Remember? The head? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So what happened is when they asked her yesterday, well, what did it smell like? And she said it smelled musty, and ultimately leading to the conclusion that it's marijuana. Now, up until that point, she had never alluded to anything. It was always the thought that it was the gun in the box, the murder. So right now, the prosecution got punched in the eye pretty good yesterday.
Well, who gave her immunity?
Yeah.
Why did they give her immunity?
Well, they gave her immunity because she threw that box out, right? So at some point, she doesn't have to testify. She could be self-incrimination here if she testified. So in order to motivate her, and her crime was so minor, they said, we'll give you immunity. And she did provide accurate information all the way through. Maybe even the prosecution never asked her the question about the smell, but it was something that looked rehearsed. It looked like the defense was ready to do it. And when she said it, it definitely added to Mr. Hernandez's defense, but there are so many things stacked up against him. I still don't think his fate is too good.
Yeah. So yeah, we have differing opinions in here on this, and obviously
I think he's guilty, but I think he walks because there's no gun. There's still no gun, right?
Still no gun, circumstantial.
Yeah.
But you got that DNA piece. It's hard to discount the fact that the
marijuana
cigarette is at the scene of the crime. It has the deceased DNA and Hernandez's DNA on it. So at that point, it's got you at the scene. Massachusetts is a funny state. You don't have to prove they pulled the trigger in Massachusetts. You have to prove you participated. So is that enough? Now we got a shell casing. He rents a car, brings the car back. There's a shell casing in there with his DNA on it. So you start adding some things up, and I think the jury can make that leap. But clearly, no witnesses, no video.
But I mean, you think of something like a joint, and you think of the DNA and just the nature, the social nature of using it and passing it around and that kind of thing. Is it because it's got the DNA, or is it because it's at the scene?
It's the scene, and they're saying, "Hey, yeah,
But
that's not a scene you'd be hanging out at.
But
It's a random place.
But it
it's
could
a
have been. It
warehouse.
could have
Yeah,
been
it's
put
down
on
by
it.
the river.
Couldn't
Yeah.
it have been smoked earlier and then
That's their defense. It could have been. Now, he also rented a car, and the expert said that rental car, looking at the tracks, was there also. Right. But they proved that expert had only a 1-week training in the tire course. So it's like a CSI piece. I have to agree that it's got this component where maybe they know he did it, but maybe it's just not going to get beyond a reasonable doubt.
So it really does come down to the jury and what kind of people we're dealing here. So
he's not going to
You
go
think
down.
he's going to be convicted here?
I just do. I think he is, but let's assume he doesn't, right?
Okay.
He's already been indicted on another double homicide,
Right.
the drive-by shooting.
Right.
And that one, there's witnesses. That one, he's got the person in the car has already testified against him. So if he walks here, get ready for Hernandez number 2.
Okay.
And if he does get convicted here, do they still do a second trial? Do we still go through all this
They
again?
they will, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Paul, I always feel a little bit better with you around, my
Yeah,
friend.
me too.
I always do.
It's comforting that you work just across the street from
It's
the studio.
nice.
It really is.
I have him on speed dial. I'm like, if there's anything ever is gonna happen, I got your number right there, buddy.
I just said to my wife yesterday, because we're waiting on our double security deposit, we just moved. I'm like, if we don't get that in full, just let him know that we're working with Paul.
Right.
Just remind him that
Right.
we're working with Paul.
Yes, right. And K-Terra finally got cable, so he's seen
I've seen all your commercials
seen
now.
your soccer commercial
I've
now.
got 3 years without TV. That's a good thing, Peyton.
Does Peyton play soccer? Does your daughter play soccer?
She doesn't actually. My other daughter does. Peyton's an ice skater.
Oh, no
she
kidding.
just had a big competition on Saturday that she did tremendous at. So that's her sport, although she seems to be good at virtually everything.
Well, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how any of you guys do it with the kids. Good for you.
Thank you guys for coming in. Nice to
Well
meet you, Peyton.
done.
It's Paul Harding from Martin Harding and Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010 and 1-800-LAW1010.com.
It's PYX 106.